This is the IRA contract for the next 9 weeks reading project. It's formatted a little bit differently. I've gotten rid of the point system and I've kind of tried to make it a little bit easier to understand. A lot of the projects the kids will do will be able to transfer to this. I am focusing a little bit more on written expression, so there'll be a little bit more writing involved. Along the sides, you'll notice how to get a particular grade, and then across the top will be the requirements for such grade. So let's start with A. In order to get an A, you still need to read over 1,000 pages and 3 books or more. So not just one large 1,000-page book. And the reason why I do that is it's really kind of difficult to require somebody to write 8 different things on one book. So I need them to be able to spread that out a little bit. Plus, 2 books need to be either nonfiction, an award-winning book, or a young Hoosier. They don't have to do one of each. They can do 2 biographies, they can do 2 young Hoosiers, they can do 2 award-winning books, or they can mix and match. I do not care. Because I want to focus on written expression a little bit more this 9 weeks, I've broken down the projects into written responses and bigger projects. If you want an A, they need to do 8 of the following choices. And you'll notice they can repeat choices. They can do 8 logs if they want, but variety will count with determining grades, so they might want to do a little bit more variety. They can do a discussion post. These posts can take 30 minutes or less. They really do not take a lot of time. The biggest thing is once they have finished reading a book, they really need to do a discussion post right away. They can do a personal response sheet, same type of thing. Make sure that you do the response sheet shortly after you've read the book, and preferably before you start a new one. Or if they are better at doing logs as they go, they can do a log for the book, but they have to do the log as they're reading it. Now, for some students that have large books that they want to break it into 4 parts, I encourage, any book that's over 400 or 500 pages, they can do a blog. And the only real difference between a blog and a discussion post is they will create a blog with their name and they will write 4 times about their book. And it counts, if you'll notice, it does count for 4 entries. So they really only need to do 2 blogs and they're done with this part of the process. They do need to make sure that they must meet the qualifications, and they also really need to complete immediately following completion of the book, or they just forget. And it's just a lot harder, and it's not as authentic to do it at the 2 days before it's due. Now here are the projects. Notice the big "or" right in the middle. That's the biggest thing. And I want to say up front that I'm really trying to get kids to do a few more book clubs. If they ask anybody that already does them, it is really the easiest way to get their projects finished. They get to read the same book with a small group of people, and there's just a lot more authentic discussion going on. So they either need to do 6 small projects or 2 larger ones. Poster projects mean anything like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter feeds, anything that they do on paper. And a presentation is then really anything that they do digitally. I also have wrap it up sheets. They are found in the resource section. And these wrap it up sheets are the same things that kids did in 7th grade. And then 2 video recorded book talks. A book talk only needs to be about a minute or so. It doesn't need to be very long. Kids can just write a quick, brief little explanation of their book or a recommendation, tell a little bit about it, video record it, and submit. Or they can do 2 of the following, and they both can be the same. They can do 2 book clubs, 2 video projects, or an outstanding project of choice. I suggest and highly recommend that they do a book club, and then maybe that same group gets together to do a book movie preview or acting out a scene or something like that. A really easy way to get these projects done. Now, I've had a couple of kids ask, so I'm going to okay this. If for some reason they do not want to do more than one book club and they just don't like to do things with technology, if they're willing to do at least one of these items, a book club, a video project, or outstanding project of choice, and I'm guessing they lean towards book club, they can do 2 out of the 3 of these projects above. So they just need to contact me through conversations and tell me that they're doing it that way. Otherwise, I'll just expect either or. And of course, the quality level needs to be at A quality. They just can't turn in stuff that looks like they've just whipped it together and it does not look like something that an 8th grader would do and think that they're going to get an A. It needs to be well done, and it needs to show some originality, understanding of text, attention to detail, just to show me that they've really put in the effort required to get an A on the project. The B just drops down a little bit. You'll notice it's a different number. So I'm not going to go through all of these again. If you want to know what a blind date is, the kids will know, most of them. Mrs. Beechler had a form that the kids filled out, some of them, and she matched them up with a book, and it has been a huge success. So if your student is one of those, you'll have to ask them about it. Let's see. The biggest thing is the due dates will be tweaked a little because we have extended the third 9 weeks by a few days. So early due date will probably be March the 10th, with the grace period extending through Thursday, March the 13th. Please understand that when the early due date comes, and I will make sure that I put that out in announcements, kids who have everything finished by the earliest deadline will only have to they can take one of the written responses off. So if they're going to be done ahead of time, then they only need to do 7 or 6 or 3, etc. So that is a good incentive for those kids that are trying to get, not procrastinate and try to do things diligently and every day. If you have any questions, again, have your child either talk to me, send me a conversation, listen to this again, even though I'm sure it's not overly exciting. I really think it'll be a good thing. The other side, this is just really for when we turn things in. It's just a checklist, so whenever they can start doing this now, as they're looking through it, they can keep an eye on things. The biggest thing, and I wish I was said this earlier, I have deadlines throughout the 9 weeks this time. Again, the deadlines they're going to I don't have dates, but they will coincide with Media Center days. If kids are not showing me progress and they miss a deadline, they will not get an A on this project, regardless of the amount of work that they do. So we've got to start worrying about deadlines. I mean, deadlines are a fact of life. So that's the one thing. If a child is going to go over and above and get an A, they also need to meet deadlines. Thank you.